All right, I'd like to welcome everyone inside Sunset Lanes for the annual NDBowling.com Classic. We just completed our position round, which was an extremely close position round that featured, 7 players, 6 players within 20 pins?
7 players within, I think it was 30 pins for the final 2 spots in the stepladder.
And within that position round, Nick Heilman shot 253. And Matt Smolin shot 259 to vault themselves into the show. So our final 5, Eric Harvey is the top seed. Number 2 is Brady Stearns. Number 3 is Andy Mills. Number 4 is Matt Smolin. And number 5 is Nick Heilman. And that'll be our first match. So what a crazy day.
It was tight all day long. I mean, you know, the top 3 guys separated themselves a little bit, but said we had 7 bowlers going for the final 2 spots the last game. That's unheard of to have it that close this late in the day.
Right, very exciting. And let's go back to yesterday on what was a 40-foot pattern with a little under 26 mils is what they're bowling on. It's a 3.13 to 1 ratio oil pattern, so it played like short oil. It played like a low volume, and yesterday when we all got here and there were over 30 people walking in, things kind of changed a little bit for the qualifying round as we had 86 entries, which is, I'm guessing 30 more than we had last year, which is incredible.
Probably. We were both sitting here, you know, we'd signed up, and as people kept coming in, and it's getting closer to 1 o'clock, and it's like, where did everybody just come from? I mean, it's amazing to see. I mean, we haven't had this turnout in a number of years, so kudos to everybody that did show up and bowl this weekend.
And as a result, we kind of got a late start yesterday. You got to give credit to the staff here at Sunset Lanes. They kind of handled it. They have a new scoring system, so they had to have everyone come in and enter all these names and try to get the scoring system to work right. And we bowled from about 2 o'clock till about 8:30 last night. It was a long day.
Oh, very long day. Long and testing. But turned out really well. Everything went as smooth as you could hope for really having the first tournament under the new scoring system. So they did a great job yesterday just getting everything and communicating to everybody. So, again, kudos to Sunset Lanes. Even if I'm a little biased on that.
And yesterday there was a little bit of drama as well, as the cut was 10 over, and that was tied between 3 people. So they had a 9th and 10th frame roll-off here at about 9 o'clock last night.
Yep.
And it was Nick Gertz that actually got through that roll-off, and then Blake Wallstrom was the alternate, and Robert Hamrick, the other guy, unfortunately, was the guy out.
Yep.
And it was 3 guys tied for 1 spot, so sometimes that's just what bowling gives you. So.
Yep, and I think there was, another 5 guys within about 5 pins of them. So it was, like today, incredibly tight yesterday just to make it to the top 24 today.
And leading the way yesterday was Brady Stearns. I can't remember exactly what he shot. What was it?
I believe it was 1855 for the 8 games, so,
pretty solid day nonetheless.
Bowled really well, as you would expect from Brady, especially on this pattern. And, played perfectly to his game.
Yep, and we will be seeing him in the quarterfinal match as he is the number 3 seed. Our first match here will be Matt Smolin against Nick Heilman. Nick is a past champion here. He won in 16?
I believe so. They all get jumbled up. But
I can't believe we've been doing this for 5 or 6 years here. So,
but yeah, we've got 2 past champions here bowling. Oh no, 3.
3.
So Eric has won this as well.
Eric won in 13, 14, somewhere in there.
I want to say it was 14, maybe even 15.
Right. It was one of the first years we had NDBowltv here. He won that year. So it gets pretty quiet in here when they shut all the lanes down.
And they did announce it, I believe, a minute ago, and I believe what we had said is correct.
Okay. Yeah, we did kind of some quick math, and the way it all worked out was we were pretty much 99% sure on that one. So And again, I'm Darren Cini with NDBowling.com, joined alongside Ken Fletcher. Our final tournament of the season here on NDBowltv.
2 on each.
As we will not go live again until August at the Midwest Youth Championships in Alexandria. So make sure you share with everyone on social media. We're about to go live here with the first match featuring Nick Heilman and Matt Smallin. And while we're waiting for that first match, please head on over to our Facebook page where we currently have a contest going where you can win an Ebonite Choice Solid. There's a post pinned to the top of our page. All you have to do is guess how much money is in the jar. Closest without going over is going to win a Choice Solid. And the entries close on that, I believe, Wednesday, March 4th at 10 p.m. So make sure you head on over to our Facebook page, give that page a like, and put a guess in. All right. They will get 2 shots on each lane. We're going to get...
Actually, sounds like they might be getting 4 on each lane. But
4 on each lane. Interesting. Well, nonetheless, practice shots will be underway. Our position round match that featured the 11-12 match, nobody struck on the left lane. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how this pattern plays for these guys.
Well, I can't say I paid a ton of attention, but 11 and 12 seem to be a tricky pair today, as has kind of always been the case here.
Yeah, our shows have always been good on this pair. So if you guys can recall last year how it went down to the final frame, Caleb Pashina struck out to defeat Andy Mills, who had a shot at closing the door with his fill shot and left a Greek church, which opened the door, and Kayla struck all 3 in the 10th after not striking on that lane the entire match. Went all 3 to win. Well, once again, Nick Heilman and Matt Smallin will be our first match. The 4-5. Smallin looking to win his 3rd different major and would be his 5th overall. And Eric Harvey at the top of the ladder is also seeking his 5th major, which would put them in elite company with, I believe, 3 people have won 5 or more majors.
Michael Schmidt, I think,
Michael Schmidt,
#1.
Dave Schick.
And Jack Nelson, possibly?
He has 3
Okay.
K-Fires, so he's only got 3. I believe it might be Jeff Smith
Possibly.
or Darren Hansen, one of the 2.
Yep.
But elite company nonetheless, as Michael Schmidt still owns that record with 7 NDBowling.com major titles. Nick Heilman is looking for what would be his 3rd, because he's won in Minot and he's won here.
Interesting watching them throw their practice balls here. You know, we're so used to seeing Nick playing right.
Yep.
And he's the one hooking it, and Matt is the one playing straight.
All right, here we go. Matt Smallin will kick it off on the left lane. Good shot there. I do believe Matt is throwing a 900 global. It's like one of those infused urethanes. I believe. It could be one of their urethane balls, but I believe it's one of those like hybrid ones that they're coming out with these days.
Sure. Well, whatever it is, you know, coming off 259 a position round and that first shot, that's a nice opening. And the first strike in the left lane in the last 2 games.
That is true. A soft 10 there for Nick. Wonder if there's a way to take the stat thing. After each shot, it shows up. Stats show up on the scores. I wonder if there's a way they can take that down.
Probably is. It did it all yesterday too, though.
Yeah.
Careful.
And
Wow.
a rare miss there. Well, I guess if there's ever a frame to do that, it's the first frame. So.
Yeah, it's not something you see or expect out of Nick, though.
Yeah, we've seen him quite a few times on NDBowltv. So. Again, we are live here at Sunset Lanes in Moorhead, Minnesota, right on the other side of the Red River. Good shot there.
Nice shot from Nick. Looks like he's being really nice to it, knows that if he gets anything into it, they can be a little jumpy in the middle of the lane. Careful.
A little wide. Lucky to get 9.
That's a good 9.
What is Nick throwing? I believe he's throwing...
Looks like a Prism Hybrid. I can't quite tell, though.
Yeah, it's possible. He was throwing a Sasquatch at 1.2, so...
Don't think that it's it, but, you know, not the most knowledgeable bowler in the world on balls anymore.
Henry Trutwin, thank you for joining us in here. Joe Scott as well. John, where is this jar of cash we can guess about? If you go to the Facebook page for NDBowling.com, there is a post pinned to the top of the page, and within that photo, there is a jar. And you have to guess how much change is in that jar. And you have to make your guess on that original post.
That's a good shot there.
Well, he likes the left lane, where our other people in position around didn't really care for the left lane.
Nice shot again from Nick there. He's thrown 3 pretty good ones to start.
Yeah, I just made a slight adjustment off that week 10. Yeah, that's got green in it. That's not a Prism Hybrid. That looks like the Sasquatch. Yeah, I'm not too up to date on my Brunswick equipment yet, but will be soon, as NDBowling.com has signed on with Brunswick for the 2020-2021 season. So we'll be seeing some new stuff going down the lanes. And once again, thank you to Ebonite for 6 great years. And although Ebonite is still within our umbrella that we'll be representing, we'll be likely representing a different company. Will that one get up the hill? And I guess that's the risk you take with urethane. Just didn't have that reaction off the back end of the pattern.
No, that looked like, I mean, that's still, it was right there. Probably just see a small adjustment, maybe right from him on the next shot.
And a question in our chat room from Ken Cummings. What pattern are they bowling on? They're bowling on the 40-foot Chichen Itza pattern, which is a 40-foot pattern, has a little under 26 mils, and a 3.13 to 1 ratio. So a lot of friction on the back end of the lane this week. But as the lane broke down, there's enough oil in the front part of the lane. As the pattern broke down, it actually held up fairly well for how many bowlers we had here.
It did. It was. I think it surprised us both how well it held up yesterday. You know, we were worried the more bowlers that were coming in that, you know, we might not have had enough out there, but you know, they were definitely looking towards the end of the day, but it survived the day, and I don't think could ask much more. You know, force you to make shots at the end of the day to do well, and when you did, you're rewarded.
Okay, Heilman up now in the 5th.
It's pretty close again.
Yeah, it was in that zone where if he kind of projects it a little more up the lane right away, it doesn't get into that full roll and it's soft 10s. And he did that the first frame. I wonder if he made a slight adjustment in the 3rd, but
Well, he's been in the pocket all 5 shots, and even Matt with the unfortunate 7-10 and the 2-pin, he's been right there as well. So come down to who can carry at the end of this game, it might.
And confirmation from Trevor Yona, and yes, Nick is throwing the Sasquatch, so thank you for that. Put one up on the board for me. Ken Fletcher got it wrong.
Yeah, Brunswick's not.
Is he going to hook?
Ooh. Just a little bit late.
Still a good pitch.
Yep.
We do appreciate everyone tuning in on this Sunday afternoon, March 1st. Can't believe it's already here, our final NDBowltv show of the season, and the season's final major where we will give away the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy here in about an hour and a half.
Do you want me to spill some Fireball up here just for fun? I mean, it's been a while.
And another
wow.
miss 10 from Nick Heilman.
I've been well behaved for the last couple of years. I feel it's time for me to spill just a drop for fun.
So opening here for Matt, if he can figure out the right lane. The last 2 shots he's thrown over here, he's gotten a little wide, so he's got to keep this one up the lane a little bit and let the urethane create that hold that it does.
It's interesting that he wanted to finish on that right lane, too.
That's right. And it doesn't. A swisher 4. Okay, well, it'll tighten up the match here with that open, but he would have liked to get that double there.
Yeah. Strike there would have made this about an even match. But spare it up, and I mean, nobody's running away right now.
And spares this week were no guarantee. With how much friction was out on the lane, you really had to be careful if you're trying to hook at spares. I saw a lot of people kind of get it a little too wide where there's a little bit of oil on the outside part of the lane.
Yep.
Or they hook by them. It was really easy to hook by spares this week.
Pretty close again.
Yeah,
he likes the left lane.
He likes the left one.
It's interesting that he chose to finish on the right lane, too.
Yeah, we might have saw something different in practice. Who knows?
It's entirely possible. And, every time that I bowled match play, I've always been more of a fan of finishing the game last.
And that could be the case here.
Yep. And, some people prefer it that way. Some people pay attention to the lane more. Good shot from Nick again.
Yeah, that ball got a little bit more of the head pin. So able to kick 10.
This could be a big shot right here for Nick if he can get double on the board before Matt gets up. He kind of lost it looked like. And no gimme spare.
No, this one I missed one of these yesterday because I didn't want to play around with hooking the ball at this. And I threw it straight, and I sent the 2-pin around the 4.
I mean, knowing Nick, he's going to go throw dead straight at it from the left, so we'll see. Looks close. Yep, good spare.
So now, I know these guys are much better than we are,
yep.
But do you think the changing colors of all the pit lights back there, would that bother anybody?
I don't know. I mean, I think these guys are so locked in that it's probably just background noise to them.
That one's a little left. Seeing that one hooked up, like he was a little more direct on that lane like we were talking about, and then it took off on him. It looked like he kind of hammered that one at the bottom a little bit.
I heard him say at one point, this is the most he's been trying to hit the ball since juniors.
Yep,
and
we used to do that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Well, you got to make a run at it.
It's close. Ooh, it's a good try, but that's costly open potentially late in the game.
Yeah, and it looks like that right lane might be the one that cost Matt.
Well,
that was not a spilt beer, don't worry. It was empty.
And it was not on our table.
No, it wasn't. We learned our lesson way back 5-6 years ago about drinks on the onset. Okay, 9th frame, got a post one.
Well,
that one didn't shim. Maybe that was kind of a reaction off of that last shot. He kind of
could have been, but you know, as it stands now, Nick needs 2 marks, and it's a done deal.
Yeah, Matt can only max out at 184 with the spare, so just fill frames here for Nick. Joe Scott alluding to kicking the table and spilling drinks in league. That's left, but ooh.
Well, I mean, good shot again.
Yeah, all you got to do is fill frames at this point. Fill frames and you're in the 190s.
Good spare. Let's see if he makes a move or if he knows what he did on that last shot on the left lane here.
Yeah, this would be a good spot where if you do catch a strike here on the first ball to maybe explore a little bit.
Yep, strike would be a winner. Otherwise, anything else opens up the door for Matt.
Yep.
Picked up nice. That was pretty good.
And that's a done deal. Nick Heilman will move on to take on Brady Stearns in our quarterfinal match.
Fast track it to the
Or
end.
was Andy Mills third? Was it Brady Stearns third?
No, Andy I believe was third.
Okay. I'm getting these all mixed up. Yes, Andy Mills is the third seed. Brady Stearns is the 2.
Yeah, Andy, I believe, did have a chance to get to the 2, but couldn't double in the 10th to get it.
So a longtime friends, the Hilly Millie combo coming up in our quarterfinals.
You know, you wonder how many times they have bowled against each other and stuff like this.
Both are past champions here at the Classic, so one of them will get a chance to add another. But when you got Brady Stearns and Eric Harvey waiting in the wings, there's no no easy task in our stepladder finals today.
No, not at all.
And I guess with that win eliminating Matt Smallin, that makes Eric Harvey our NDBowling.com Player of the Year.
It does. It was it was close all the way up until the end, but that pretty much seals it, doesn't it?
Yep. Eric Harvey actually had a half a point lead on Matt Smallin entering in the event, and so when Matt jumped into the stepladder finals, Matt stayed alive for NDBowling.com Player of the Year. But with that loss and finishing 5th, he will likely finish 2nd in the Player of the Year race. But what a great season by Eric Harvey, and he's still got a match to go for another title.
Yep. Bowled for the title at KFYR a few weeks back and made the show up in Minot as well.
And he was one of the first out in Manitoba, I believe.
Yeah, because I think he lost to Michael Schmidt in position round, if I remember.
Yep.
And
he finished 6th.
Pushed him out of the show, so that's pretty impressive. 4 top 6 finishes in the year in the majors. Probably bet it hasn't been done.
Yeah, very reminiscent of what Mike Larson did last year. Last year's Player of the Year winner. He had a lot of really good finishes in the other tournaments, and then he came to the majors and made, I believe it was 3 shows and a top 10 on the other one. So
yep.
A really good year for Mike last year, and Eric followed it up with another one.
See if he can grab that elusive major this year, though.
Yep. And Eric Harvey is our top seed, looking for his 5th NDBowling.com major title. I do believe Andy has 3. He has 1 in Minot, 1 in Manitoba, and 1 here. So he's looking for his 4th. Brady Stearns, our 2 seed, has a win in Minot, so he's got 1 major. So there goes that whole first-time major winner thing that we were talking about in the preview article. But
well, our top 5 all have majors and multiple majors for 4 of them. So, like we were talking about before we came on, this is about as star-packed as you could get for a show.
I would agree with you there. So here we are in our quarterfinal match, Nick Heilman and Andy Mills. In the chat room, remember when Clayton qualified first for all the majors except 1, and then he qualified second? Yes. That was back when he was on a tear through the majors for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And he only got out of there with 1 of them in Minot, so.
Yep. That's eerily reminiscent, isn't it?
Yeah, for a while there, Clayton was a mainstay at Manitoba and at the K-Fire for a few years in a row there.
Yep.
And then made the show here. I believe the year he lost to Eric Harvey, he was in the final against Eric. And then in Minot was the year he won in 2015, because that was the year that Endersby shot 300 against Michael Schmidt.
Yep.
And then
ran up the ladder, and I believe Clayton needed a double in the 10th to win it.
Double or the first one in the 10th. It was one of the 2, and he got it. You can catch that show on our archive on NDBowling.com's YouTube page, where you're watching right now. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button at the bottom of your player, and please hit the subscribe button. As we have gone well past 1,000 subscribers, we're actually closer to 1,100 subscribers at this moment. So thank you to everyone who's been watching over the years.
That's pretty awesome.
Again, if you're just joining us, we do have a contest on our Facebook page where we are giving away an Ebonite Choice Solid. There's a post pinned to the top of the page. Just go over there and guess how much money is in the jar, and that jar is in the picture. So go guess how much money is in there. The closest without going over by Wednesday at 10 p.m. will win an Ebonite Choice Solid. Mills now up in the second. So the tale of 2 lanes here, as the first one on 12 was a little light, and now he goes heavy on the head there.
It's interesting that you don't normally see these 2 guys playing the same area of the lane.
But now if you do recall last season, it was lane 11 where Andy left that Greek church in the 10th.
It was.
So historically 11 always hooks more than 12.
And you wonder if Nick's forward roll will come into play, because Andy seems to be a little bit more, yeah, you get it right, it hangs, but that one looked pretty good and it jumped. And his little bit more side roll is going to come into play. Well, fortunate to only leave the 3-6.
Again, we'll be giving away the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy following our championship match.
Careful.
Ooh.
That was close.
I've chopped my fair share of those.
I think I chop that at least once a week out here.
Heilman now up in the third. Looks like he got a little more of a projection on that ball. That was a big key this week, is learning to project the ball far enough down lane to get the right spot as it exits a pattern, because as a 40-foot pattern, it really played with a lot of friction. It's gonna hook.
Yeah, see it, right lane just hangs that little bit, and that was kind of the same case for Matt.
Yep. And it seems like it doesn't matter what pattern we put out here, Andy Mills is going to show up to the stepladder with a red quantum, and here it is.
Well, I think he was saying yesterday that anytime he comes here, he only uses one ball. He just has to figure out what that one ball is.
And I've actually seen him throw quite a few today. He was throwing an uppercut for a while, and now he's back to the red quantum. It's rare to see Andy switch balls here, but
yeah,
we've seen a different look for him.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. Doesn't matter. He always has that red quantum with him.
Yep. So Andy is looking to avenge that loss from last season as he finished second.
Like a little move left there.
Okay, so he's got 11. A little bit of a can opener there, but nonetheless, he's in the pocket. So let's see what Nick does here. Do we see him go to the same spot and kind of give it a little more of a projection down lane?
I think he has to, so you can't. Yeah, it looked like he did move.
Man, got the 7 out.
Yeah. And looks like Andy already going to a new ball.
Well, and the funny thing about that, the guy he's bowling against is the one that drills his equipment, so he's probably asking his opponent which he should go to.
That's entirely possible.
It'd be funny to ask them about the dynamic in matches they bowl against each other.
Take a little stick there from Nick, maybe.
Yeah, and one thing we were talking to some bowlers about earlier is sliding outside the box. So if you're not sliding on a part of the lane but the gutters, it does get a little tacky out there. So
it absolutely does, and that's just the characteristics of this house. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah, and that really came into play this week as a lot of the players were forced left.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I personally changed the way I shot 10 pins because of this house.
I believe it.
But Andy, strike up, see if he can get a couple together here with the ball switch. And a good ball switch, too.
We never did get a final standings, did we?
I don't think we've seen the official one from today, no.
But we do believe the Manitoba Open champion Michael Makla was sixth in his first attempt here, so a good showing for him. Thank you. We appreciate that. Dustin Harold finished in 7th, Brian Gehring in 8th, Clayton Moore in 9th, Douglas Wagner in 10th, Thomas Wolf in 11th, Ryan Selk in 12th, Eric Schacht in 13th, Jared Schmidt in 14th. And just a little weak there.
Yeah.
Jack Nelson in 15th, Joel Galley in 16th, Ben Godey in 17th, Josh Craig finished 18th, Scott Endersby in 19th, Gene Kruger in 20th, Nick Gertz in 21st, Rodney Holm 22nd, Justin Petrie in 23rd, and Chad Brucko rounds it out in 24th. So congrats to everyone who made the cut. And thank you to everyone who traveled to the Fargo Moorhead area this weekend to bowl. At 86 entries, in my mind, is phenomenal, and hopefully we can get same entries in future tournaments. But if you are going to bowl, please call and sign up, as it would help greatly. And we will have to talk to Sunset Lanes about next season's dates, but we are not completely sure what we're going to do yet.
Nick. Ooh.
And will it trip it? Nope.
Not quite, but fortunate for just a 7-pin.
But next year we are looking at either the 27th and 28th of February or the 6th and 7th. I believe it. Would it be the 6th and 7th of March? It's between a couple weekends, so we're trying to figure out which weekend would be the best. So if you're in the chat room and have any opinions on that?
Yeah, Nick on the spare.
It's always so hard to try to avoid all the other tournaments that go on, and we did hear from a lot of people that there just was no other tournaments going on. There was a Senior Masters going on in Minnesota, but other than that, this was one of the only events, so we saw a lot of people come out. But at the same time, we saw a lot of different people that don't normally bowl tournaments come out and bowl. So
yeah, there were a lot of new faces that, like you said, don't normally bowl tournaments, or at least tournaments that we see. And oh, pitch out from Nick. That's you'll take that rail right there.
Yep, it's a good 7.
But yeah, I mean, it was great to see new faces. You know, a lot of younger bowlers too that never seen, at least around the area here. So it's good to get the influx of talent. And Nick on the spare, but it's
that count might actually
come
back to get him here.
2-pin match as we speak, you know.
So Andy Mills now throwing the uppercut. A New Brunswick ball that I will likely have in my bag shortly.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah,
kicks
a little bit of a stronger ball on that right lane.
Let's see if he goes back to it on the left lane after leaving 10-pin last time.
Again, Brady Stearns is waiting in the semifinal match, and then Eric Harvey, our #1 seed.
Is that going to get there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just a matter of how it's going to hit.
Another can opener. It's another big double for Andy.
Those are big this week. Can openers, little swisher strikes to get 2, 3, 4 baggers. Those are pretty big this week.
Yeah, you could get to the hole easy enough. You know you can get 1 or 2, but it's getting that 3, 4, 5 bagger that made all the difference.
Pretty good shot there.
That looked a lot better there.
Well, got to post a strike here, and then Mills has a chance to go up and shut him out. Nick still has 230 possible. Mills still has that 246 up there, so still a close match.
Yep.
But that count there in the 7th, that, you know, he 9 spares there, and the count is even at 6, so.
Is that going to push enough?
Yep.
Just enough.
It's that forward roll he's got right off his hand. The ball kind of gets into a heavier roll than we see most guys have.
Well, Andy can go up there and throw 2 strikes and a 9 spare for a 1-pin, potential 1-pin win. But
yes.
That's, I don't think that's a given right now with how the left lane is. It's close. Yep.
Well, following this match, you're going to have somebody representing North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin left. So pick your state, grab a beverage, grab some popcorn, and buckle up for the last 2 matches.
It's pretty close if it carries. Yep.
Who's going to advance in the all-Wisconsin match here?
strike will be enough. 9 spare will be enough. But anything can happen.
He's on that left lane, up in the 10th. One of the craziest finishes we've ever seen last season, so you know he's looking for a vengeance.
It's pretty close. Ooh, that jumped again.
The
Wow.
booth jinx comes in once again, and well, here we go.
I mean, you want to go for it to force all 3, but I think getting 2 here is just as big for him.
Yeah, count is really big here. Makes that fill ball a little more important.
And he just went
gets
for
a
the 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the pins do bounce around here, so we've seen there was a 7-10 converted today. I believe Scott Endersby told us he did that down on 20, so here we go. Nick needs to double. Double 9 is a winner.
It's good if it gets there.
Ooh, had the pin go up against the wall and the little smirk from Nick. Wasn't one of his best shots, but it did carry. There we go, striking 9. I really wonder what Andy's thinking right now.
Well, you can see Nick turning around and probably jabbing at him a little bit, but needs one more.
Push. Ooh, got the 10 out.
And Andy just drops his head. It's not over yet.
Still needs 9.
As we hear Clayton Moore yelling in the background.
For the sake of when I want to go home, I prefer to not get an 8. But for entertainment value, I'd be okay with it. All right, 9's a winner.
It's a little wide. Is it going to get there?
Oh, no.
No, he bucketed.
A bucket.
Oh, wow.
Reverse the curse. 232, 230 finish.
Oh, wow.
Andy Mills will advance to take on Brady Stearns in the semifinal match.
You hate to laugh a little bit, but just the way that they both reacted to that, I mean, it's a little comical.
I can sure this car ride home is going to be entertaining.
Oh, yeah. Well, we both know who gets the back seat now.
Well, Nick's always driving. He's the all-time driver from what I hear. What a match here at the 2020 NDBowling.com Classic, and some good friends that came down to the 10th frame, and Nick Heilman leaves a bucket to lose. Needed 9, gets 6. So now Brady Stearns will take 2 shots on each lane. And while we have a minute and everyone can kind of regroup after that one, I would like to remind everyone to stay connected to NDBowling.com and NDBowltv by subscribing to our YouTube page. Go like our Facebook page, as we do have a contest on there giving away a free Ebonite Choice Solid. You just have to find the post and guess how much money is in the jar, and that jar is on the picture. And once again, a big thank you to Ebonite as we are closing out 6 years as Ebonite, the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowltv. Next year, we are moving on to Brunswick. So we do thank the folks at Brunswick for continuing that. And once again, I would like to remind everyone you're watching NDBowltv, the High Plains Bowling Network. I'm Darren Steen with NDBowling.com once again, alongside Ken Fletcher for our final tournament of the season. We are in our semifinal match between Brady Stearns and Andy Mills after an incredible quarterfinal finish. And it'll be interesting to see what Stearns does, as so far throughout our matches, the right lane doesn't hook as much as the left. That's what we know. It's kind of always been that way. It's going to be different when Eric Party comes here because he's on the left side. When's the last time we had a lefty on our show here?
Probably Eric, actually. I can't think of anybody else who's come close, or
right.
you know, been in that position, I guess. But yeah, this will be interesting with Brady. with pretty substantially higher rev rate than either Nick or Andy.
Yeah, looks like he's trying to find a smoother ball reaction, which a lot of people were looking for this week, the way stuff reacted off the end of the pattern right away before you got all that carry down. And I don't know if the carry down really developed that much today.
Not as much as it did yesterday, it seems like. It still seemed to be pretty touchy in the middle of the lane, but you know, that last shot right there looked pretty nice, so see if you can find something.
We have a question. Wade Scott ever make the show here? I don't think so. Wade Scott has made our show up in Winnipeg a few times, but I think that's it. And Wade has always told me the one statistic that I still can't believe is Wade has never made the cut at the K-Fire. The guy with as much talent as he has, it's just the one tournament that he just can't get there. So
that's shocking to me.
And Wade, if you're listening, I do apologize for sending that statistic out there, but Wade's a good guy. We like Wade, and
well, I mean, we were talking yesterday about Wade, the ultimate optimist, it seemed like.
Yes. Wade could be 200 under and not even close, and he would be the most positive guy out here bowling. So if you ever cross with anyone at one of these tournaments, cross with Wade Scott. Because he'll always keep your mind in it. Looks like Andy will start on the left lane here in our semifinal match.
And right away, the left lane jumps up.
Yep. I really wonder if that left lane is going to end up costing the righties, you know.
It very well could. We'll see what Brady has. I mean, he threw one shot that looked really good in practice, but it doesn't take much.
As Brady has gone through a year of switching over to Storm, as he was with Ebonite for a couple years, and then with the acquisition, he changed back over to Storm, where I believe he was throwing mostly Storm before he got on staff with Ebonite. So he's generally familiar with their equipment, but it's always hard going back to another company and start throwing different equipment.
We're relearning everything again.
Is that a high road X? Okay, good shot there.
Yeah.
And that one seemed to labor a little bit.
So
you're going to have to be confident on that left lane, because I bet you if he throws the same shot in 11, it's probably dead flush.
Probably, and you know, the one good thing that Brady has going for him is his ball speed too.
Yes.
You know, he may, that little bit extra might be able to help push it down the lane. So maybe it's not leaving big four combinations, just leaving 4 pins or, you know, 3-6 or something if he does go through the nose.
Oh.
Well, it's a
pretty good shot.
Still a good opening shot there. Careful.
Ooh.
That's 3 missed 10 pins already today.
Yeah, we got a shout out from Henry Trutwin here. He said he got to bowl with Ken Fletcher Sr., who is the dad of my colleague here, Ken Fletcher. Said, unbelievably great guy.
It's good to hear, Henry.
He wouldn't tell me who was the better, junior or senior.
Well,
that's funny.
Let's just say that I did not learn from my dad. Oh, careful.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Okay, bonus.
Not sure what happened on that one, but
yeah, wasn't 12 the one that didn't hook as much?
That's what we were saying, or we thought, but
well, welcome to bowling. This is what happens out here, in pair to pair, lane to lane. Just everything is always so different. But yes, I will second that. You know, shout out to Senior, great guy. Good to see him out here bowling. He's been bowling a lot of tournaments lately.
He has. It's nice to see my dad out here. It's always enjoyed bowling. Wonder where I got it from.
There you go. Mills now up.
Get there.
Cash it in.
Ooh.
Cash in that break you got on lane 12.
He knows that was a big shot there. Brady's thrown a couple pretty decent balls, so just got to keep it right where he was.
Looks like the open bowlers are coming in here too.
Well, we are running a little later than we usually do, so
yep.
It's not a big surprise. Looks wide. Oh, got
nice
there.
recovery, though. Yep.
Well, it's maybe their little rev rate that Brady has. So, good shot there.
Still kicking himself over that missed spare, though. Once again, we're in our semifinal match here at the 2020 NDBowling.com Classic, live from Sunset Lanes in Moorhead. Eric Harvey, the #1 seed, will take on the winner of this one in our championship match. Stearns now up in the 4th, working on a strike.
Got it a little wider, but there you go.
Got the 10 out that time.
Well, let's see what Andy does here after that mysterious shot in the 3rd frame.
Yeah, that was different. Makes you wonder if maybe he came out of the ball just a little different, but the shot will tell us a little more.
Looks like he moved in a little bit.
Ooh.
That'll work.
How would you feel if they started throwing up the left side during practice with urethane? Good defense? Well, considering Eric Harvey is actually throwing urethane on the left side, I don't know if it would really do much. But as far as a defense thing, at this level, I don't think we've seen it much at all.
And really, with the amount of practice they get beforehand, oh, another 10 pin on the left lane.
Yeah, you only get 2 shots on each. I think you're better off trying to develop your own reaction, instead of trying to play defense. In my mind, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, and if it was, like the PBA Tour where they get that hour practice ahead of time, okay, absolutely, I can see maybe them doing that to protect themselves or, like you said, play defense.
Yep.
But when you only get 2 balls to start, to try and find out where you need to be, you're probably better served just throwing your shots and figuring out where you want to throw instead of trying to, defend against somebody else.
Yeah, like you said on tour, that all 5 bowl before the show, and then in between matches, whoever's left also comes onto that pair and throws a little bit. So it's a little bit different than what they do on tour. They just come here. There's a practice lane down there. I believe Eric's throwing on lane 5 right now. And he'll come down and get 2 shots on each lane, and that's it. It's okay if it hooks.
Oof.
Hooks too much.
Wow. Maybe the right lane's starting to go a little bit now.
Yep.
It's a couple shots that look like they've been a little bit wide, but for Brady it picked up.
But nonetheless, that was a pretty good question, not one we normally get, so
yeah,
appreciate you tuning in, and thanks for going into the chat room.
And for people who, aren't out here during the 2nd day of the tournament, not anything they would probably know.
Exactly, yeah, these tournaments are different. Every tournament's got a different format. Speaking of unique formats, and ooh.
What were you saying about bouncing pins? There it was.
Bounced out a 4-9. So maybe that makes up for that little missed 10 pin he had there. But as I was saying, if you're looking for a unique format, come out to Minot in 3 weeks, the 22nd of March, for the Hemi Bowl. One of my favorite events every year. It's actually based off of football, where they have 6 divisions, 2 conferences. The division winners advance. There's going to be wild cards on each side. It's an interesting tournament. It's all about luck of the draw, what division you get into. It's pretty fun.
Yep, you would know as well as anybody. You could average 200 for the day and make it, or average 220 and get run over by 3 guys in your division.
I was the beneficiary of that a couple times.
There's a nice shot.
There was one year where I actually shot 40 over, which would not have won any other division and would not have been a wild card in any conference. Yet I advanced as a division winner. It was fantastic. Meanwhile, there were people that shot 200 over, didn't win their division, and didn't get a wild card. It's bizarre.
Said it's luck of the draw.
Yep. Ooh, soft 10.
Pretty good again, but just not quite enough.
So for those of you out there looking for tournaments, please keep an eye on NDBowling.com. Click on that upcoming events page. We do have tournaments posted about 2 months in advance for all the tournaments that we do cover. And we're going to start populating that upcoming events page with next season's tournaments at some point. So keep an eye on that. How about an NDBowltv podcast at some point? That would be fun. You know, different topics. I know you and I have talked about it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's so many things you could go with that, but would be a lot of fun. A little difficult for both of us being in different parts of the state, but
yeah,
stuff we can work around.
Yeah, something to think about. Mills now up in the 7th, working on a spare.
There you go, got 10 out. Take a little bit more loft on that one, maybe to push it down lane a little further for him.
Now this is going to be an interesting shot for Brady because he just came off I thought he labeled the last shot on 12 and 4-9.
Yeah.
So now does he think about that? Does he make a move? Because the 2 shots before that I thought were a little wider and then had the little swisher go on. Yep. What does he do here?
I think he's going to move left just a hair. You know, because it's starting to pick up. The one before that looked like it was wide, but came back and kicked a 10. So looked like it was a move left, and
wrap 10.
You can see that little sigh. He's throwing good shots, I think, but not getting the breaks that he's hoping.
No, and the last time this one was left standing, he did miss it. So bowling gives you a lot to think about. Can be a pretty cruel game sometimes.
Yes, it can. But also why we come back every time. Careful.
I missed it again.
You know, I had that happen a couple times yesterday where I threw it and in the middle lane it hooked.
Yep.
Just that little bit, you know, just enough.
The short oil, the way everything just kind of picked up in the middle part of the lane, even plastic, was having that little 2 boards of check area.
Yep, if you weren't throwing it, you know, 18, 20 miles per hour dead straight, that happened, and we've seen it, you know, now twice.
Now, one thing I will say, one thing I've always admired about Brady's game is how he can keep a level head throughout any sort of conflict, adversity, or bowling crazy good. You know, he always keeps a level head. So
absolutely. Is that going to get there? And, you know, maybe tried to throw a little wide to combat that 10 pin, and unfortunate right there. So, you know, Andy with a gift from Nick the last game could bring this into a title match for himself if he throws a couple more good shots.
After what happened last year, you never know. That just what he needs to get another Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy in his trophy case.
Yeah, but you know what? This can be made by Brady, I think, right here.
Yeah,
I didn't quite get it there.
I saw a lot of those actually spared this week with how much friction was down lane. A lot of people were making those.
Yeah, exactly, and especially for him, the way he can get around it.
Yeah, it was easy to leave those because you felt like you had to gas it at the bottom of the swing. But when it came to making those, it was really easy to get that angle to make it.
Well, Andy in the situation where 3 marks is enough.
Wide.
And
shaker.
That's enough, though.
It's one of those, as you move left on this pattern and try to get more oil in front of the ball, it seems like you get a little more skate, and then it's, okay, what kind of reaction are you going to get off the end of the pattern?
Yep. Looks left. Oh, and it just sits there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder if he made a move to try to get a little more of that oil in the middle part of the lane.
I think he definitely did on the left lane. Probably did as well on 12, but you know that's a big double, and that's pretty much going to lock out the match there.
He's already got 187. The most Stearns can get is 193. So Andy Mills will once again be in our title match. And you know what that means, Ken? That means the second tournament in a row I have picked the winner on NDBowling.com.
Yep.
Because I picked Blake to win at the KFYR, and I did pick Andy and Eric to make this show. So,
yep, you got what, 3 out of 5 today, I think, didn't you?
Because we did pick Thomas. We picked
maybe
Thomas, Andy, Eric, Larson.
Mike Larson, yep.
And who was the other one?
Did you pick Brady?
Clayton. I picked Clayton.
Okay.
Yeah, he finished 9th, I believe.
Well, still, that's pretty good.
Still a good showing for Brady, who's actually had past history here in this building, as he's won the Kickoff Classic by a mile 2 or 3 years ago. He ran away with that tournament in this building. So.
Yep. Well, final score is not going to show how well Brady bowled this weekend, but you know, good for him to come down here yet again and prove how good he is.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm sure we'll see him on NDBowltv again. That's for sure.
I don't think there's any question of that.
So that sets up our title match: Eric Harvey against Andy Mills to take home the 2020 NDBowling.com Classic here at Sunset Lanes in Moorhead. We will give away the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy following this match. And once again, if you just joined us, please follow us on social media, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to that YouTube page. We would appreciate it. And once again, a big thank you to Ebonite for being the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowltv for 6 years, as we will be moving over to another Brunswick brand here shortly. Again, you're watching NDBowltv, the High Plains Bowling Network, and the championship match will be underway here shortly.
And I would just like to point out, while we were going through that Brady Stearns took his plastic ball and threw out a 10-pin for his final shot.
Just as a little, okay, I can do this, kind of pick it up.
Well, to be honest, I think he might have missed a left.
Because didn't he leave the 1-5?
He left the 1-5 on it. He clipped the 3-pin, so it would have been really close.
So far our show has kind of been a lot of uncharacteristic misses in my mind.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you don't expect Brady to miss 2 10-pins. Nick, didn't he miss? He missed 1 at least.
He missed the single pin against Matt in the first match. Yeah, he missed 2.
Yeah. I thought he missed 2, and then, you know, Andy leaving a 4-7-9 to let Nick back in, but then Nick leaving a bucket to hand it back to Andy. I mean, that's stuff you don't expect from these guys.
Question in there, are we moving to another Brunswick brand or Brunswick itself? At this point, we do not know. We do know that Brunswick Bowling Products has signed on with NDBowling.com for the next season. And once they kind of get everything organized, we will know what specific brand we will represent here on NDBowltv. But we are confirming that it won't be the Ebonite brand, so it'll be one of the other 6. So stay tuned, as we will likely announce that on our Facebook page once that becomes official. But luckily for me, I get to throw all 7, so that's fun.
Yeah, that's good for you.
And once again, we are about underway on our championship match. Eric Harvey, who has had one of the better years we've seen in a while, is making his 2nd straight major championship title match. He lost to Blake Wallstrom at the KFYR TV Bowling Classic about a month ago.
Be curious to see what kind of ball reaction he has.
You know, we haven't seen a lefty on our show here at Sunset in, I want to say, a few years.
Yeah, I said it. I think it's been since Eric won.
And we did have another lefty, Dustin Harold, actually finished 7th. So we had a couple lefties in the top 10 this year.
Yeah, Dustin was actually 4th going into position round, I believe, and just didn't quite have the game he wanted. But
and Blake Wallstrom, KFYR champion, was actually the alternate.
Yep.
Those of you just joining us, we had a 3-way tie for the final 24th spot into match play last night, and they had to do a 9th and 10th frame roll-off where Nick Gertz actually was able to advance, and Blake Wallstrom was the alternate, and Robert Hamrick was unfortunately, the odd guy out. So,
Yep.
But great bowling for them. Plus 10 was the cut to make it to Sunday. So a pretty good cut in my mind. I like to keep everything anywhere in between that even to plus 50 range.
Yeah, I think that it couldn't have worked out much better. Like I said, even a plus 50, that's a great mix. Nothing too hard, nothing too easy. And I think that's what most bowlers hope for when you come to something like this.
But I tell you what, man, yesterday before we got started, I was stressing because
Yep.
we were expecting anywhere from like 50 to 60 entries, and when we had 30 plus walk-ins and topped out at 86 entries, which meant 7 on a pair, some pairs had 8 throughout this 24-lane center, I was concerned that there would not be enough oil out there, but the way the pattern held up and the way everything worked out, even though we had to bowl a little late, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. Everything worked out a lot better than I thought it would.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more on that. Well, should be in for a good match. It looks like Eric's got a decent look even after that last shot. So there has not been a whole lot of traffic on the left side today, so should be relatively fresh for him.
All right, here we are, underway. Eric Harvey versus Andy Mills in the championship match. Eric's second straight major final. And the second straight year Andy Mills has been in the final of the Classic.
Ooh, all right, that's probably a good break.
Eric wants a drink if he misses this one.
Yep, you can see his hand there.
It's funny how many times at tournaments when people leave 5 pins, how many hands go in the air these days.
I would like to point out the Hall of Fame Classic with Tommy Jones and Chris Barnes being one.
Yeah, so many different things out there for people at league and ways to have fun, so it's good to see. All right, so on the spare, and this is our first look at Eric Harvey, who is having a great year. He was on our show in Minot and just missed the show in Manitoba, and now here in the championship match at the Classic.
And who's pretty much been either the number 1 or number 2 guy all day long today.
And looking for his 5th major to become the 4th person with 5 or 4 NDBowling.com major titles.
Good opening shot.
I really wonder if Eric's on a mission after the whole K-Fire thing. He led by a ton at the K-Fire and ended up losing the title match to Blake Wallstrom in what I would say a subpar game from Eric. Like he was over 220 every game in match play, and then just struggled to get it off his hand the right way, whatever it was. And I know that game bothered him, and I feel like he's out here on a mission to kind of finish this season off. Player of the Year, he's already locked that up. Get that major title.
Well, and I think even adding on to that is, the game that he bowled in at the CMA up in Minot, where he ended up losing. I forget who it was to, but it was after coming off 2 big games to start that day. Oop, shaker 10. That's probably okay from him. After 2 big games to start that stepladder final, came out and bowled a very subpar game, and like he said, and then after the K-Fire, he's got to be on a mission.
Yep.
I bowled next to him all day yesterday. He bowled very well all day, and you could see towards the end today how much it really meant that he wanted to make it here.
Okay, on the spare, which is no guarantee on our show today, so good shot there for Eric. So now I think the key for Andy is going to be on this right lane. Even though he has history on the left lane, what's been happening for him on this right lane is going to kind of determine this match, I think. If he can get that ball to roll in there the right way, because it has been starting to go. Both Brady and him noticed this lane was hooking a little more than we know. Okay, there we go.
And you know what? I think that move that he made towards the end of the last game is probably going to combat that a little bit, but said right there, that looked really good.
Again, we're in the third frame of our championship match here at the 2020 NDBowling.com Classic. We will have a complete recap of this event sometime this week. So keep an eye on NDBowling.com for that article.
Oh, balk.
I heard a little clap over there. I think whoever's bowling on 1 and 2 didn't like their shot, gave out a little bit of a clap, and good for Andy to reset. I'm sure you can all hear that we do have a few open bowlers here at the moment. We are dead center in the middle of the bowling center here, so they do have some people bowling on the corners.
Oh, careful, got a little bit over himself, it looked like.
Yeah, another 5-pin.
Yeah, again, there's the hand up. But two uncharacteristic shots, I think, to start that left lane. So, see what Andy does.
Okay, there are a few hands up here, but not going to get anything out of that one.
On the spare, yep. Well,
so far it's the left lane. Each player is struck on the right. Again, a big thank you to everyone tuning in today. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Please hit that subscribe button. That one hooked up on him.
yeah, it looked just a little bit right. Not much. I mean, could have easily been there, but
As Eric is throwing a purple urethane. Ironically enough, it was the ball that Blake Wallstrom used to beat him at the KFYR, so then Eric went out and bought one himself, and here he is in the title match about 3 weeks later.
good spare.
Eric was telling me early in the week that he has not thrown a ball since the KFYR. He went on vacation to Florida with his family and hadn't had a chance to bowl, and comes in here and is able to get to the title match. I feel like Eric's a completely different bowler on Sunday. When you get this guy into match play, the guy's completely different. As long as he can get out of qualifying.
Yep. Yeah, you can see him focus so much harder on Sunday. I mean, a guy of his talent level shouldn't be any issue to get to Sunday, but, you know, nothing is ever given.
And what we've seen kind of this season is the righty traffic getting left.
Careful.
And
oh, boy.
it's hard for the lefties to kind of keep up because the patterns don't break down as much on their side.
Yep.
And so any lefty that does get out of qualifying, well, now the righties get a tighter pattern on the right and not as much breakdown on Sunday. So now it essentially evens the field on Sunday as long as the lefties can get through, and that's what we've seen.
Yep, and let's see another shot that was a little bit right off Eric's hand.
Give it a run.
Okay. That was close, but
Open in the
frame.
fourth. 63 there in the fourth. Can Mills take advantage here? This right lane's kind of turned into his good one now. Hey, shout out to Mike Harris. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for the good entry numbers. 86, I would have never thought. Unbelievable, and a great thank you to everyone who came out and bowled this weekend. He's going to hook.
Nice shot from Andy.
Look at that kick on that 10.
Yep. But need to find one on the left lane.
Was there any two-handers in the field? Jamie Craig actually bowled.
Yep.
I want to say there was a couple others.
I believe I did see a couple. I can't remember who it was, though, exactly.
Nope. And once again, a new look Sunset Lanes. They have a new scoring system, so there was kind of some trial and error going on with the scoring yesterday, and I think as the years go on, that'll all get better. But all the upgrades here do look great.
Is it going to hit?
7.
Oh, a lot better shot, though, it looked like.
And once again, striking on the left lane is...
Yeah, it's becoming a little bit troublesome for both of them so far. And, I mean, this reverts back to, the last game of position round. where neither bowler struck on the left lane, I think it was, right?
Right. Okay, so now Eric's got to regroup. I did think the last one he threw on 12 was a touch slow. I may be right, like you were saying. Let's see what kind of adjustment he makes.
You know, I just have a feeling right here that he's going to come back with 2 really good ones. He's probably pissed off at himself for those last couple, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him go bang, bang.
And especially with Andy going Dutch at the moment, this is your opportunity.
Yep, still well on the match.
A little more confident on that shot, but it hooks up and trips 6.
Looked like he might have even moved a little bit.
Yep.
So, well.
It makes me wonder, like, you know, for the righties, the right lane doesn't hook as much as the left, and now we're seeing for Eric that the right lane hooks more. So is it a topography thing here at Sunset Lane that we might be seeing?
It could be. No, I know at least for our Thursday league, 12-13 is a split from our women's league to our men's league, so you know, the way that they typically will play is there's typically more carry down on 11 and 12 compared to 13-14.
Sure.
But, you know, there's enough movement in the house where, you know, unlike North Hill, which is drastically different.
Oh, 2 good shots. Good call there for Ken Fletcher as Eric Harvey goes up and puts up the first double of our match.
Yeah, you know, there are certain pairs, like I said, 13 and 14 is a great example of that, where 13 always hooks more. But you don't see a ton other than the general, the low end tends to hook less than the high end.
Sure.
But it's not anything like North Hill where, you know, you could call exactly the way they're going to play every time.
Yep. Good shot there. But now can he figure out the left lane? He threw a good shot on the left lane his last time up there with that slasher 7, so he's got the pocket. It's just a matter of getting the ball to the right spot.
Yep, it looked like it was a little bit tight on the last one on 11, but see if he maybe tries to give it a little more room.
Yeah, we got a 7-pin match. Big shot here for Mills.
Looks a little wider and it picked up. That was a good shot.
So Andy Mills retains the lead.
It's a big double. We'll see what Eric can do to respond to that.
Also like to make a big shout out to Lonnie Thielbar, who has kind of kept the lanes in working order. We actually kind of had a pretty good day of very few breakdowns with the lanes. There were some, you know, pin calls and stuff like that, but otherwise no major breakdowns over the course of the weekend, so a big shout out to them.
Yeah, not at all. Nothing out of the ordinary, at least.
Oh, trip 8.
Wow. That's 2 big breaks right there.
Mike Rotz, thank you for that comment. We will keep that in mind. Those of you in the chat room, do appreciate everyone. Yes, and we will second that. What a great job Darren and Mike have done with the lanes. Yes, all the updates in here do look fantastic. And once again, we're in our championship match, a 7-pin match here at the 2020 NDBowling.com Classic. I'm Darren Cini alongside Ken Fletcher, calling the season's final major. We will give away the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy here in about 15 minutes.
It's pretty close.
It gets a 7 out.
Yeah, you can see it right there.
Man on a mission.
Yep, absolutely. Only one guy can stand in his way right now, and
the guy looking for revenge of his own after last year. So
absolutely,
both these guys I feel like are playing with a chip on their shoulder at the moment. Andy Mills, frame 8, leading by 7.
Pretty good if it gets there. Yep.
It's a hell of a shot.
He's locked in on the right lane right now.
Okay, we're down to the 9th and 10th frame. 7-pin match. If you're in the chat room, let us know who you think is going to come away with this title. Eric Harvey making his 2nd consecutive major final. And Andy Mills, 2nd consecutive NDBowling.com Classic major championship match.
Andy can't be shut out if he gets this strike.
Yeah, big shot here. Last shot on that left lane.
He's got to hook a little. Oh,
Ooh,
he carried
can
the
opener.
swisher. Wow.
What is Andy throwing? He is throwing a Brunswick uppercut. All right, so if you're Eric Harvey, go up there and throw some strikes and force Andy to earn it.
You know, like Andy, that 9th frame was a big frame for him getting that. Same thing right here for Eric. I think they're both finishing on a good lane, so who's going to make the better shots?
Yep, this is the biggest shot for Eric. He's got to get this last one on 12.
It's a little wider if it gets there.
Got it.
He shreds it. Wow.
I sent that messenger over to the 10 and it just caught enough to get off the edge of the pin deck.
It's a big shot. You know he's got to feel a little bit better now going to 11, finishing there.
So for what I believe is a 3rd consecutive year, our title match is going to go down to the 10th frame. I do remember 2 years ago, Tad Schmidt steps up in the 10th to win it. And then last year, Caleb Pashina steps up and throws all 3 in the 10th to win the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy. Here we are, 7-pin match. Eric Harvey up first.
Pretty close.
Got it.
Got another one.
All right, big shot here. This one to force the double out of Andy.
Yep, and counts still very much in play.
Yep. Yeah, you want to make sure you get 8 here.
Yep. Well, get the strike and then make sure you get at least 8.
But let's say he does miss on this one. You know, it does change things around, but at least he would still have the count on his side.
Close again. Yep.
Good shot there. All right, now make sure you get enough here to get the count. But no matter what, Andy Mills has to step up and double if he wants to win the title.
Yep, 7 pins will force a double.
But regardless, putting up 240 if you're Eric Harvey, there's not much more you can do. I mean, he's probably kicking himself for that 4th frame, but
yeah, I mean, that if you look back on it, I'm sure that's the only thing he'll be upset about. He did get, you know, probably a couple good breaks, but still, you throw up a 240 in a title match, and I think everybody would take that all day.
I would. To be able to come back and throw at least a 7-bagger, probably an 8 here.
It's got to get there.
Okay,
all right, that's
9's
okay.
enough.
Yep.
Okay. So 242 for Eric Harvey, and now he's got to sit and wait. Andy Mills needs to double. Looking to avenge that loss from last season's title match here at the Classic. He's got to have it.
It's got to hook a little.
It's a really good shot when you need it. So here we go. This one in 3. So it takes the whole Greek church out of his mind, because even that's enough.
Yep.
He's got to have it here. All right, Andy Mills for the win.
It's pretty close if it gets there. And he got it. Wow. That's 2 great shots.
And now just keep it on the lane. You need 3 pins. Once again, take that Greek church. Even that's good.
You got to think he's going to take the spare ball. Nope.
That one, you only need 3. You just got to keep it on the lane, in my mind.
I don't think that's going to be an issue.
And we will get a word with What appears to be, yep, Andy
Mills
Mills, the
will be
winner.
our winner.
What a match.
That's
250 to 242. Andy Mills will win his second NDBowling.com Classic and his 4th major overall. So congratulations to him. We will get a word here with Andy momentarily and hand out some hardware. So congratulations once again, and another great year for Eric.
Yeah, I mean, he's disappointed, but to come back after that 4th frame and put up 240, I mean, that shows who he is. So he'll be back. He'll win again.
And once again, congratulations to Eric Harvey on winning NDBowling.com Player of the Year, finishing 2nd in 2 majors, a top 5 in another, and a top 6 in the other. So all 4 top 6, you got to give the guy credit.
I don't think too many of us would complain, but it's tough anyway, losing 2 title matches. And if there is any consolation, like you said, Player of the Year, that's awesome for him, but it's still going to be a disappointment, regardless of how he looks at it.
Absolutely. So congratulations to Eric Harvey on a 2nd place finish and a great season. And we will get a word here with Andy Mills in a second. Now, once again, thank you to everyone who tuned in today for our final show of the season. Our next show will be in August at the Midwest Youth Championships in Alex.
I think Andy knows the drill by now, so.
Yeah, he's no stranger to this. All right, let's get to our booth cam here once this thing goes away. Let's do this. And there we go. So, joining us now in the booth, champion Andy Mills.
What's up, guys?
How's it feel, man?
Feels pretty good.
After last year, this has to be a weight off your shoulders. Take us through that title match. What a close match.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Harvey really pushed me towards the end, obviously, as everyone saw. But that left lane, it was hooking more. I could tell with Nick's match. I could tell with the match when I had with Nick, and then I thought I threw some pretty good shots. I actually moved one right, and then got the 2 lucky ones in the 7th and the 9th. But that's really all it was, and I was really dialed in on lane 12. I had that one figured out for the most part. I could be aggressive. If I missed it, it did the light ripper. I missed it at the bottom a little on that 11th one, and it just still got up the hill.
Crazy. So take us through the match with Nick. Like, that finish was probably one of the more crazy finishes we've seen on NDBowltv. But you guys are good friends. Sure. Take us through how that 10th frame went.
Well, obviously the score was tight, and I had the lead by just, if I got the first one. And just needing 9 spare, and I knew it, and I figured basically did the same thing as last year, is throw a crappy shot, get 7, all right. Now I'm at the mercy of whatever Nick does, and I got a funny text from Lindsay, my wife, and she goes, "Well, did Nick do that on purpose because he just doesn't want to bowl against Brady?"
Right? Yeah, they have some history on NDBowltv as well. So.
For sure.
So crazy weekend for you. We were telling people that NDBowling.com is now on with Brunswick. So kind of take us through what you were throwing. I saw an uppercut out there. Your red quantum that seems like goes everywhere with you.
So yesterday, Saturday, I went 220 over, just throwing the red quantum. There was obviously 4 times the amount of bowlers as there were this morning. So I had, it was going to hook. It was going to be in. I was just going to try to commit to trying to get there right away. And I threw a hero as well. I have 2 different heroes. I threw them both on Saturday. And then today, it was obviously night and day difference. Less people practicing, less people bowling.
Yep.
And I needed the ball up, and that uppercut was the trick. I shot a 137 game 4. That took me from 90 over to 20 over.
Yep.
And on a fill ball, I just grabbed I rattled through 5 balls, grabbed that uppercut on the fill ball, it struck, and the rest of it was history. I went like 210 over the next 4, and yeah, just really kind of just tried to coast in with that ball.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's hand out some hardware. Huh?
All right.
Well, here it is. On behalf of NDBowling.com, Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy, your second one.
Thank you, Darren. I appreciate
Congratulations.
it. Congratulations. Awesome.
4th NDBowling.com major overall. So
Andy.
congratulations to Andy Mills, and I'm sure it won't be the last time we'll see you.
Nope. We'll be back next year.
All right, congratulations. And after last year, this has to feel good.
It does. I mean, if nobody saw what happened last year, the cool thing about what you guys do is it's all archived on NDBowling.com. Go take a look on how wicked that 10th frame was. You know, kudos to Kayla, like we said earlier this morning. She buried 3 in the 10th to beat me by 2 after not striking on that lane the entire match. So
well, awesome,
this one feels really good.
Yeah, you got it done this time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Awesome.
Thanks, Andy. All right, Ken, that'll do it for us. Another season in the books.
Yep, it was, and heck of a fun season again. You know.
And that's about all I have to say. We had some crazy matches this year. We had some crazy times on NDBowltv, and then we're going to come back and do it again next year. So
yep.
If it's your first time watching NDBowltv, please hit the subscribe button. We're going to be back with that, probably like 6 shows, maybe 7 shows next season. And again, with Brunswick. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Once again, I'm Darren Sini alongside Ken Fletcher. And if you could, head on over to our Facebook page. We do have a contest to give away a Choice Solid. Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube page. Follow our Twitter page. And once again, a huge thank you to Ebonite, who was with us for 6 years. We are moving on to another company, but once again, big thank you to everyone in Hopkinsville. It might not be there anymore, but big thank you to everyone that worked there and supporting us over the years. And again, you're watching NDBowltv, live coverage of the 2020 NDBowling.com Classic, live from Sunset Lanes in Moorhead, Minnesota. We're saying good night, and we'll see you in August.